fellow guitar travellers, it's Rowan J. Parker here, and welcome to another episode of I Love Legato, bringing you the absolute best in noodlesome, Hulk-like left-hand legato licks, which we hope you enjoy very much. Before we get into today's lesson, I'd like to encourage you to have a look at my website, www.rowanjparker.com. Tons of free guitar stuff on that site. Without going into too much detail, it's a good resource, whatever your level, from beginner to outrageous shred. You can contact me if you're interested in Skype lessons through the website, and you can also subscribe to my website for extra free subscriber exclusive material. All you do is stick your email address in the subscribe box, hit subscribe, and boom, whole world of extra free guitar goodness is yours for nothing. It's all completely free. So do have a look at the site. Let's get straight into today's lesson, which is a tricky one, properly tricky this one, so it's going to get split up into two different halves. Here's the first half today. So let's begin, let's rock blues mayhem, legato goodness. Here we go. Okay, we hope you enjoyed that very much. I think you'll agree though, it's pretty tricky, it's quite involved and there's a lot going on. So what I will do for this particular lick is I will split it across two different lessons because it's just a bit much to take and all in one lesson. So, first of all, let's just discuss what we're actually playing over. It is a 12 bar blues in D. So we have 4 bars of D7 and then 2 bars of G7, back to D7 for 2. And then A7 for 1, G7 for 1, and then D7 for 2 at the end. Add all up together and it's 12 bars. And fundamentally this is really an arpeggio study, because that's what we're doing. We're outlining the chords with arpeggio. So today we're just going to cover bars 1 to 8, which is really just what I'm doing for the D7 chord and for the G7 chord. So without further ado, let's get straight into looking at what I'm playing for that D7 chord. Let's do that. Okay, let's look at what I'm playing over the first 4 bars. Now the first 4 bars are just D7, so I have a 1 bar idea that I'm playing 4 times. And the 1 bar idea is just 16th note semiquavers and sounds like this. Let's have a listen. Which is really two separate things. It's an ascending D7 arpeggio, then a descending F sharp minor 7 flat 5 arpeggio. And if you put these two arpeggio sounds together, we're creating or implying the sound of D9, D dominant 9. That's what we're getting. So let's just split it up into the two halves. Here's the first 2 beats, up the D7 arpeggio. Alrighty, let's go ahead and give you the verbal tab for that. So it is low E 10, and then A9, and then we've got D7, D10, D12, G11, B10, and high E8. Now the fingering is also a little bit unusual, so let me give you the fingering. So it's finger 3, 2, 1, 3, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Alright? And the notes, maybe give you the notes as well, is D, F sharp, A, C, D, F sharp, A, C. So that's just the notes in a D dominant 7 arpeggio, alright? And that's the first 2 beats. And the second 2 beats is descending this minor 7 flat 5 arp, is this one. Alright, so give me the verbal tab for that. It's high E12, and then E8, then B10, G11, G9, D10, A12, and then A9. Almost made a mistake there. Okay, okay, digitation here. Finger 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 4, 1. And the notes got the E, which is the 9th, right? So that's why it's D9. So E, and then C, and then A, F sharp, E, C, A, and F sharp. I have to think about that a minute. Alright, that's our F sharp minor 7 flat 5 arp. And that's how you create the line. So it's up the D7 arp, then down the F sharp minor 7 flat 5 arp. Okay, now obviously it's all left hand, so covering over the neck with your hand or using some sort of hairband or mute otherwise, you're trying to just hammer on all the notes and try and get everything come out clearly, which is not easy to do. It's not easy to do with these shapes. So you do need a bit of distortion. a bit of compression as well, just to help everything sort of even out a little bit, but it can be done with a bit of practice. So that is bar number 1, and that applies to every time the D7 comes up in the blues. That's what we're going to play. So it is the first 4 bars. So let's go ahead now and look at what's in bar 5 and bar 6, because that's slightly different. Okay, bar 5 in the blues, the chord changed to G7, and we've got to accommodate that by changing the notes. And in fact, what we're going to play is a G9 arpeggio. Alright, so implying this sound. So here's the actual line, sounds like this. And let me go ahead and give you the verbal tab for this line. So we've got A, 10, 12, 14, and string skip to G. 10, 12, 14, string skip to high E, we've got 10, 13, 15, then back to 13, 10, back to G, it's 14, 12, 10, and then back to A, 14, 12, so it's 1 bar of 16th notes, 1 Iana, 2 Iana, 3 Iana, 4 Iana, okay. Now the fingering is a little unusual for me here. I'm going to finger this 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4, then obviously on the reverse, 3, 1, 4, 3, 1, 4, 3. Start with 1 again. So that's how that works. Be interesting to have a look at the actual notes we're playing as well, just to explain why it is a G9 arp. So the notes we have are G, A and B, right, which is the root, 2nd or 9th, and then the B is the major 3rd, and then skipping to the G note, the G string, we have F, G and A, which is flat 7, root and the 2nd or 9th again. Then skipping to the high E, we've got D, F and G, which is the 5th, the flat 7 and the root. So you can see it's basically all the notes of a G9. Alright, and that's what you play when we have the G7 in the blues. So that really takes care of the first 8 bars. So the first 4 bars is that D7, D9 arpeggio, and then when we go to the G7 on bars 5 and 6, we play the G9 arp, and then when we go back to D7 for bars 7 and 8, we're back to playing the D7 and D9 arpeggio. So what I will do now is I will play you the first 8 bars super slow, just so you can see exactly what's going on. Okay, here we go, bars 1 to 8, very slowly. And there we go. Now obviously when I'm playing it, it's all left hand, so it does take quite a bit of left hand strength to be able to hammer everything on and get them all to come out evenly, but that is the mission. Alright, so that is bars 1 to 8. I think we'll leave it there, do the wrap up, and we'll do, the last 4 bars next week in part 2. Okay, well that concludes part 1 of this lick. Tune in next week for part 2, where we'll finish it off. Very tricky, this one, so you have to practice it quite a bit. I had to practice it myself to get it to sound good, and I came up with it in the first place. So good luck with it, it's not easy. Don't forget to visit the website for tons of free guitar stuff, subscribe, and if you're interested in Skype lessons, just send me an email via the site. Well, thank you very much. I'll check you out next week for another episode of I Love Legato, part 2 of Blues Mayhem. See you then, farewell!